So when we sit like this, it's not just, to spiritually transform, so to speak, is also the willingness to be healed. It goes hand in hand. They can't be separate. And two people wrote me and said, would you please talk about spiritual bypass? But I like to talk about this because I think it's helpful to have a really balanced perspective rather than the sort of imbalanced perspective of the purely spiritual. The way I have come to really understand what I'm referring to as that is a kind of treating what's happening here like some high, like a state that you want to maintain. And that's all that is, a state that you're trying to maintain. And some people do that their whole practice. They go to teachers, they go to retreats, and they get plugged in, and they get plugged in to presence and, have the experience of oneness and so forth, and it's wonderful. And I know people who did that for really 30 years and never really allowed the transformation of the human to happen at the same time. It was sort of like, well, you transcend that. You transcend the sinner, right? You don't need to do therapy or anything like that. You just become one with God. That's it. One with the presence. And I think that's I think in certain traditions it's understandable just from the backgrounds and understanding of those times. But I think we've, as I used to say with Virginia Slims, come a long way, baby. And we ain't in the Middle Ages anymore, or the thousands of years ago. We're here. This is now. And spiritual bypasses, people say, well, how come that guru, did what they did? I thought they were enlightened. And they're out, stealing people's money and, acting really, hurting people in many ways. And I've worked with many people who have had to recover from that kind of abuse. Why? How is it possible that they could do that, given that they were so enlightened, that they had so much power, so much, shakti? Well, quite frankly, they're an example of what I'm talking about. They bypassed their humanity. They didn't take their they didn't know that awakening is the beginning of human life. If you only value the spiritual and you devalue the human, then you're basically unconscious to that. And you're dangerous. Particularly if you convince other people to follow you, which it's easy because power is seductive, money is seductive, fame and notoriety is seductive. We're all, we live in a celebrity star-struck culture. It's really, spiritual bypass is not a lot different than getting stoned, getting high, looking for a state, having an experience. I mean, that's all fine. Have an experience. But then find out what is the that's really opening the doorways to the possibility. And we're here to really enter that realm, the uncharted realm of the true possibility for humanity, which is to be awakened and truly grounded, balanced human beings. So I think that's the next step, and I think that's why a lot of, what's happening today in psychology, and more and more people are trying to understand the integration of this with healing work, with therapeutic work, with psychological work, trauma work. It's all connected. Even somebody like F.M. Alexander, who I was an Alexander teacher for decades, and he wasn't conscious of spirituality, but he tapped into it, and when he touched people, they got it. It wasn't just some, his great disciple, who I was a student of, Marjorie Barstow, she had it. She touched you, and it was like, whoa. Your whole body expanded. It wasn't that now you're going to be in this right position. People misunderstood the Alexander technique, and they became stiff, trying to be straight or something. But he tapped into it. Many, many people tap into this presence. Anybody can tap into the presence. Anybody. It's our true nature. But it's easy to tap into it and not know what it is, or not know how to work with it. This is major uncharted territory. So you're on the cutting edge of human development.